America fights back. Once again, Diane Sawyer.
You heard the president say tonight, again to resounding applause, we will rebuild New York City. And of course, instrumental to that are the firefighters who have lost so many of their own. Well, for the first time, I had a chance to sit down and talk to the man who is now the new chief of what is possibly the largest fire department in the world. He is Fire Chief Daniel Nigro. And we talked about the new honor he's received, an honor he did not want. Do you remember the morning last Tuesday?
Sure. Beautiful day. We heard it, and then we saw it right from our offices. I responded in the same car with Chief Department Gansey and recall telling him, this will be the worst day we ever have. It was. Soon after we got there, people began jumping.
You saw them?
In large numbers. So that alone would have made it the worst day we've experienced if it had ended just at that. But it didn't.
Can you get those images out of your head ever?
I haven't yet. Perhaps, but I haven't yet.
And the chief who faced a new kind of crisis above ground may now face one below. The World Trade Center was built on a kind of ring of concrete. If the firefighters dig too aggressively now in the debris, the ring could collapse, letting the Hudson River burst through.
We have not reached down that level of debris removal yet, but certainly it's a major concern for us when we reach that level. It's
how far away are you, do you think?
Certainly days. There are fires, some fires still burning there that are inaccessible to our hose lines. We're trying to keep it cool. It'll burn for a long time.
What's a long time?
Weeks.
Weeks? Months?
I'll start with weeks. No one has ever dealt with anything like this before. So on some of the things I can't turn to page 430 and say, there it is. It's going to be 2 weeks for this one. Don't know.
Nigro is a 32-year veteran of the force, the son of a fireman. He's only been chief since last Monday, taking over for his friend of 30 years. One spirited, the other quiet. One small, the other tall. One missing, the other in pain.
I guess he was my, somewhat my alter ego. He was more gregarious, and he was the short one. We were always together. Good friend, golf buddy.
Beat you at golf?
Almost every time.
But he said, I believe, you were a snappier dresser.
Well, he didn't, he was certainly no slave to fashion, and he would be the first to admit it.
He said once, our best career days have taken place together.
Yeah, that's probably true. For the last 10 years, I guess, we've been together a lot. And it was good, a lot of good days, and a few real bad days, and then one real bad day.
In this past week, how many times have you thought to yourself, I'll ask?
Every day. All day.
Nigro and the chief, Pete Gansey, had arrived at the site together, then separated as Gansey went to set up a command post. Nigro circled the perimeter to assess the damage. The first tower collapsed. They both made it through the suffocating debris. Then Pete Gansey raced toward his men at the base of the second tower.
You said the look on his face was beyond his game face. He was more like Mel Gibson in Braveheart. He was a warrior.
Yeah, he knew how to put out fires. He could put them out and hold a conversation with you at the same time. But if they were starting to get the better of us, he got real mad, so he'd get on. He'd get mad at the fire. Well, he was really mad at this fire. And so it was beyond that serious face. It was, I'm going to get you face, but it didn't work out that way.
He disappeared, as did hundreds of firefighters, including a father and a son, and a firefighter so badly burned in a previous fire, he had just returned to the battlefield.
Knowing what you now know, if we had that situation again and a huge ball of fuel in a plane had hits a skyscraper, will you say, I cannot let my team go in until we know if that building's coming down? Will you have to say it this next time?
I think any fire chief would have to say it. Would have to say, now that we've seen it, this is a different game. I certainly wouldn't be an advocate of everyone moving back to 7-story buildings. We can do this. We can't do it if people fly airplanes full of gas, of jet fuel into us, but under normal conditions, we can do this.
Would you like to see the World Trade Centers rebuilt?
I don't know who would occupy them.
For Chief Nigro, nothing to do but lead, nowhere to go but the place so long his home, nothing to say but the words of Dylan Thomas, who wrote about the wild men who catch and sing the sun in flight. Men, he wrote, who do not go gentle into that good night.
Do you think about your dad a lot?
Saw him last night. He's helping me through this. He's one of those greatest generation guys that went over to the Pacific in World War II and went back to Korea. Pretty tough guy.
What's he say to you?
He tells me I'm doing a good job. We'll see.
Chief Dan Nigro, and as the president said tonight, in our grief and anger, we find our mission and our moment. When we come back, some parents are surprised by what their children really say.
Proposed cost to improve air travel security, $3 billion. America Fights Back will continue in a moment.